Long, short road here.
Last class hunting, maybe?
Focus on bringing people in.
Well, we're here now.
Last 20. For the national championship. Yeah, length it up, pound it.
We have pretty solid contact.
How do I make my legs look bigger?
Stronger for betting shirts.
Get excited.
A lot of minutes by a lot of times.
Eyes up, chins up.
And much faster.
Keeping the team together.
Keep on. Right. Always. Put up.
You guys are not the same height.
It was pretty good, and it was pretty hard.
Big congrats to the guys.
Actually, it was so hard.
Yep, headed back to Melbourne.
It's gonna be so much better.
Hello and welcome to the Redliner Experience. I'm your host, Christian Dossett, and I am here today with one of my best friends, roommate of 3 years, and one of the greatest teammates I have ever had, Marcus Farley.
Hello. It's great to be here. I appreciate you having me on the podcast. It's a wonderful opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, really. So here we are. Let's set ourselves. We were in my bedroom at 2:50 a.m. before you ship off, before you get out of here and head on to your next adventure. And I went ahead and got us a little Canadian whiskey, since you are my Canadian friend.
Yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity. I received to be a dual citizen with the U.S. and Canada, and I very much so appreciate it.
No, it's smooth stuff. I like it.
It is quite tasty.
It's cool.
Typically, I'm not necessarily a whiskey man, but it is very good.
All right, so man, it's weird to think that this chapter is over.
Yeah, it's really something else, It's kind of something that you have to wrap your mind around and kind of get your bearings on what's next and everything where you came from and how it all ended so abruptly, for lack of a better word.
So, where did it come from? When did we first meet each other?
The first time we ever came in contact, me and one of longtime brothers, family members, Jaden or Apollo, we hailed from the same rowing program in high school, and we just kind of were a little bit curious about who was the incoming class, who was going to be the class of 2016. We wanted to get to know the guys a little bit better, so we started the formation of our first group chat, and it kind of spiraled from there. And I'll never forget the first time we ever came in contact is me and Jaden arrived a little bit early on campus, and that was for freshman orientation. And when we were driving up the first day to get our keys to our dorms, we were in his car and we were driving down University Boulevard coming onto campus right past the large FIT sign, and he was like, "Hey, is that Christian?" And I was like, "Holy shit, is that Christian?" And we rolled down the window, we're like, "Christian!" And you were with your parents walking, and you were like, "Wait, what?" And it was just kind of this like confusing moment of first introduction. It was fantastic. It was I
remember that vividly.
Yeah, very, very vividly. I remember that.
Dude. So that was fall 2016.
Yes.
And here we are in May. What is it? May 9th?
We are May 14th.
Oh my goodness, dude! This like quarantine's got me out of my mind. I don't know when it is. May 14th, 2020. So we lived in the same dorm building our first year.
Yes. Chala. Never forget.
Like Chala was a blast. We had a lot of good times. Made a lot of freshman mistakes.
That's an understatement, but definitely everything that you go to is a very large learning experience, learning curve coming to college for the first time, kind of getting a little bit of that freedom experience and still trying to keep your head on with everything that's going around you. And, just those new interactions are a lot, especially, I think, for college freshmen.
Absolutely.
And we definitely had our fair share of those experiences.
Yeah, I was so excited to row with a team because where I came from, we had just a few guys basically, and I was rowing single, double, quad, and I was so excited to be a part of a program where we're just like all erging around each other, and when we're in a boat, our breathing is loud, and we'd have coxswains, and we got here, and it was more than I had hoped for. It was so cool to have the senior class and everyone in between welcome us into this brotherhood that's existed since like 1967, 1976?
Yeah. Somewhere in the 70s, I believe, was when the rowing program was first founded.
Yeah, but did you feel the same way? Like welcomed, actually?
Absolutely. We formed a very, very quick bond with some of the sophomores and the juniors and stuff, and the team became very close very fast. Like, I mean, I came from a big eights program and stuff, but I was still very excited for the next chapter and what that would entail for collegiate rowing, because there's definitely a big change, a big step up from being a high school varsity athlete to moving into the realm of being a collegiate athlete and just having, honestly, the honor to compete at that level.
Yeah, it was really cool. I'd never gone to nationals in high school. Well, I'd gone to nationals, but not to row. So I saw how everybody was like built there, and it was like when you go to the smaller regattas, like not everybody's Superman. But you get to nationals and everybody looks a lot more like Superman. So I cut that middleman out. And then by the end of my freshman year, I was at IRAs. And everybody is just giant and like so athletic. I'd never seen such an athletic group of people in one location for one event.
At IRAs, for sure, definitely. You're going toe-to-toe with the best athletes in the nation if you can make it there. And like I got a little taste of that. I mean, I'm definitely a shorter gentleman when it comes to rowing, and that really became prevalent to me.
And how tall are you?
I'm about 5'11" on a good day, and I had the opportunity to experience a little bit of some of that larger racing in the summers when I raced with my cousin's program, and we went to Canadian Henley, and it was interesting being around just that caliber of athlete, and kind of getting to see a little bit what collegiate rowing would entail, because some of those people parallel, but even then, like, you're walking around, me, 5'11", I was on the way shorter end of the spectrum. You had guys 6'6", 6'7", 6'4" at least was the average height for Canadian Henley athlete, and then you go to IRAs, and it's just a whole other ballgame, because not only is everyone 6'4" or above, they are competing at the absolute top of their field to be at a national gala like that.
Yeah, we're some lucky guys. So at 5'11" on a good day, there's like weight classes in rowing. So how did you feel about like your weight class coming in, and did you feel any pressure to change it, and how did you change it if you did throughout your career?
So I hailed from Capital City Rowing in Tallahassee, Florida, and we had a long-standing tradition of a heavyweight program there. And my junior and senior year, I was on the smaller side, about 160 or so pounds, and there's a lot of pressure from my coach, who always, a big thing in Florida, large boat rowing is I want a boat full of guys that are huge, 180, 190 pounds, pull really hard, and we'll figure the rest out. And that was something our coach really instilled in us. And he was like, Marcus, you need to gain weight. Like, you need to be 170, 180 pounds by the end of this year. And that's something I never really took to heart, because I wanted the option to possibly be able to row lightweight in college. And I think a lot of that stemmed from I had a lightweight experience over summer rowing, and then coaches will come around and view different programs. And Steve Perry of Cornell Men's Rowing at the time came around to view a bunch of teams in Florida. And when he stopped in Tallahassee, he watched a practice, and afterwards a couple of the seniors got to talk with him for a minute, and I was like, Coach, like, what would you recommend for me on a collegiate level if I should try to go heavyweight or lightweight? And he's like, well, the standard I always said and what I always remind guys is, if you're taller than me, you should probably go heavyweight. And if you're shorter than me, you need to go lightweight. And he's like, you're my height, you need to go lightweight. And so I kind of took that a little bit more to heart and decided I want to keep myself around the 160 pound range, just to give myself the option to do that in college.
Right. So going throughout, you eventually did have the opportunity to row lightweight.
I did. I got an experience with it over summer rowing when me and a good friend of mine, Mathieu, rowed a lightweight double at Canadian Henley. And then coming into college, I got recruited mainly by two different programs. It was either me going to Temple University or coming to FIT. And about my senior spring, I had the opportunity to row lightweight at Temple by taking a gap year, but I didn't think that was the right path for me. And I mean, obviously I wouldn't change it for the world. I've loved my experience here and decided to go heavyweight at FIT.
Right. So I think we should jump right into the meat and potatoes of what's been affecting us so heavily recently. Can you remember vividly how this pandemic has affected our season?
Absolutely. It came very, very abruptly. It was business as usual. We were just starting spring break. We did the entire week of spring break. We were doing heavy sea racing in fours to kind of determine the base of what we wanted for our heavyweight 8 for the rest of the season. And then just on a given Friday, we got a text from our coach, and he was like, hey guys, tomorrow's the last practice. We're going out to the canal. We're going to de-rig boats, and that's kind of the end. Like, it came very, very fast. None of us were really expecting it, given the circumstances, but there was a little bit writing on the walls that we could have read. Like, a lot of other programs up north had already received their complete cancellation orders, and we theorized there was a possibility we were soon to follow, but we didn't want to, guess on anything like that. A mentality we kind of took into it was business as usual. We row. When we row, we continue with what we're doing and let everything else fall down, let our coach and our university make the corresponding decisions that would determine what was going to happen for the rest of the season.
Yeah. I remember at the time we were guessing around.
Yeah.
And it was weird because it was on this line of silliness and also some of the hardest work that we could possibly do in the time being.
Absolutely. We were working very hard over that spring break, and it was kind of a joke between us. We're like, what if this actually does this for our season? But, moving into stuff like that, you never really grasp the full severity of the situation. And we're just kind of like, yeah, that could happen, but, it's not going to happen.
How could it happen?
Exactly.
It's unprecedented.
Nothing like this, within reason, has ever been so prevalent to affect university sports. And we were just kind of like, yeah, like, what if that happens? Haha, like, we're on our way to practice right now. We're about to get into some serious work.
Right. And then we were supposed to do some racing over spring break. And up until we didn't, we still, like, had a suspicion. You know, it's like unlearning Santa Claus, right? Like, we wanted to believe that we were going to race again in those stripes.
Yeah, we were very excited. We had races lined up for the end of spring break. If I'm not mistaken too, we had like a scrimmage and like an official race, and we were going to do a couple things with Georgetown University Rowing, who was down training at Canal 54. We were all looking forward to that, and it just all kind of fell apart after they got their cancellation orders, and about a day later, we got our cancellation orders to cease and desist all activity for varsity athletics.
So there was a cloudy period where NCAA was canceled, but we didn't know if we were canceled yet because we're IRA. There's like this joke that like we don't know, we have like an identity crisis in rowing because we don't feel like NCAA, but I remember we got it just before, or maybe even during the weightlifting session with Carl, the night before our last row. And that lift was electric. We had the music blasting, and everybody was working so damn hard. That was a great workout and experience to share with everybody.
It truly was. That was a fantastic lift for the team. It kind of set a really good tone. It was on a Thursday into the end of spring break, kind of moving forward. And, you know, everyone went in there with just the attitude of, this isn't a lift, we're moving. Maybe in the farthest back of your mind that this, you know, that this could be one of your last practices. Everything is kind of fallen down. But I was extremely proud of the team that everyone went in there, worked really hard, and, you know, it set a really positive tone for the rest of spring break, which unfortunately was cut a little bit short. But
yeah. So the following day we rode in vans down to the canal. It's about a 30-minute drive, and we're lucky enough this year to have vans transport us there by drivers. So we're wearing our stripes and like all the stuff over the stripes, and we're driving down the dirt road to get to the boathouse, and the other team's packing up. And we were like, everybody's like kind of throwing names. Like, we were just so upset. We're like, oh, they chickened out. How could... But it's just so out of our control. Like, and it was out of their control. And coach wasn't going to let us race some. And it still couldn't have ended in a better way, I don't think. Because we went out as a team in our racing uniforms, and we decided, instead of rowing 1V, 2V, yada yada, that we would at least have the senior boat together. Everybody was a senior. We had 8 seniors, 9 including Jaden. And we rode right up to the 2K marker, doing our warm-up. We steady-stated 1,500 back, and then at 500 meters, Jim called jungle rules. Do you remember how the jungle rules felt for you?
100%. Jim gave us a really wonderful opportunity. You know, we were supposed to go down to the boathouse that day and pack up. And previously we had discussed with the team that everyone wear your FIT racing stripes, which is an extremely historic symbol for the program, and your high school uni. So kind of where you came from, where you are now. And when we got there, nobody truly expected to row because we had the cease and desist, but essentially it panned out that if we were to take the oars and bring the boats down, we would not be stopped. And that was an opportunity we couldn't pass up. we divided up into classes within our boats, and that was a really special opportunity to get to go down the course theoretically one last time with everyone in our senior class. And we kind of knew it was coming. We knew Jim was like, that last 500 is going to be everything for your last 4 years as a senior that you had. And it was truly a phenomenal experience to get to just throw everything you had, everything you wanted to get out of you in those last 500 meters with guys who were, going to be graduating that year. And, you weren't going to have as many of those race time opportunities, those travel opportunities with again. And it was truly a special moment, spending time here and being part of this program.
It really was. It felt like perfect, hardest rowing. Those final strokes. I cried. That was a moment. 8 years for me. While we were at the canal that day, Jim speculated how the future could turn out. And he says, I don't know if this is temporary. They say it's indefinite. We have to take it day by day. Uncharted territory. I'd like to get the team back together for something official before everybody leaves town, as they're likely to do. Harvard's evacuating all their students right now, and we're likely to follow the case of the IVs. And we never did get the whole team back together legitimately. But he had also said that it would be rumored that the seniors would have another chance to compete. Do you remember when you found out that we'd have another chance to row again?
I do. Jim was very open and honest with us about everything, which was really appreciative of any member of the Florida Tech men's rowing team. And he was truly honest with the situation. He didn't sugarcoat anything. He didn't spin it for any way, shape, or form. And I absolutely do. He's like, the seniors may have another opportunity to row. And at the time, I was looking into grad schools, and I basically already made my decision where I was going to go. And I knew that I wanted to compete at a varsity level one more time, whether that be to try to transfer my skills into another sport, which I'm a rower. It have to be something cardio. I have zero field skills to go into another sport like football or lacrosse or soccer or anything, but I knew I still wanted to compete on that level. And being given the opportunity that the NCAA gave us, because they still do govern our eligibility to compete one more year, was truly an honor, and I'm excited to hopefully take the water next fall.
At Temple University?
At Temple University, yeah. And it's bittersweet. I'm very sad that I'm not going to be able to take, to get back rowing with the guys that I've spent the last 4 years in the trenches with. I'm very honored that I actually get the opportunity to compete again at that level, potentially, guaranteed everything works out. And it's also a little bit exciting. I love the gentleman who I rowed with the past 4 years, but I'm excited to go toe-to-toe with them, and if they think I'm going to take it easy on them, that's absolutely a mistake.
I'm looking forward to see you row out there, man. Hopefully, I can tag along with our team and see you at the big uns.
It would be phenomenal. Unfortunately, the likelihood is that we will not meet up on the grand stage ever again, which is kind of disappointing. It just depends about how funding and what races FIT and Temple end up at together and how progressions work. But if the opportunity arises, I'd be very excited. And
so, does Temple compete ahead of the Charles?
They do. They send maybe one or two boats ahead of the Charles. I'm not really too familiar with the team structure, how they run that, but that's kind of the general opinion I've got. So there's a chance for us to race there. There's a chance for us to race at Dad Vales as well, if FIT decides to come up to Philadelphia And then if everything goes well, which we hope it does, is a chance for both programs to meet each other at the IRA National Championship and end up in the same heat or finals together.
Oh, that's exciting.
It is. And I think it's very important to note, like, Jim was extremely supportive of this decision for me to continue rowing in another program. He did not try to deter me in any way, shape, or form, and I'm very appreciative of that. He understood that I'd made my decision, for grad school first, and that this opportunity came after. And he definitely helped me a lot to figure out all the compliance things that I needed to complete before I could even begin this whole process of continuing to row during my master's.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too because the alumni were kind of talking crap in their alumni chats, right?
Yeah, Jim made a joke long before this all happened when I was looking at schools or whatever before COVID-19. I had a couple of different schools that I was looking at / had been accepted to, and he's like, like, Marcus, if you ever do anything to help Temple's program, like, I'll never forgive you. And that's horribly ironic now because. Yeah.
So we haven't talked about your major yet. So you've been studying.
I've been studying accounting for the past 3 years at Florida Tech. I changed my sophomore fall from sustainability to accounting, and I'll be pursuing the same thing in my master's. It's not the most orthodox major, no kid grows up and is like, I want to be an accountant, but it's something that I fell into and I really, really fell in love with over the past 3 years.
Very cool. It always surprised me because I studied humanities and I live for like artsy stuff and like, I don't know, thinking about things that like, I don't know. I feel privileged to study what I study because it's pretty non-necessary for like normal daily function. And I've always admired your work ethic and the interest that you take in the things that you do take interest in. So, congratulations, man, on finishing this round. I'm happy for you.
I appreciate that, Christian. And we're not quite out of the woods yet, but I'm excited for the next chapter, and it's something else.
Oh man, you have a bachelor's of science in accounting. All right, do you realize how unique that is? I mean, sure, there are a lot of other people with a bachelor's of science in accounting, but I think I read this census report when I came into college that said 33% of Americans have a 4-year degree.
Yeah, something that you're definitely a little bit desensitized to is being
in college
or a collegiate athlete or anything sort of do with college is that's not necessarily an opportunity that is extended to everyone. And this really was instilled in me with when I was speaking with a friend of mine, JP. He went to FSU and was also doing accounting. He's like, a lot of people really, feel this pressure, this need to do this whole 4-year track in college. It's high school, 4-year track in college, job, whatever. But just getting to that level and being able to graduate and then move on to the next step is a huge accomplishment in itself. And it's truly something that I've considered a privilege. I get the opportunity to go to college. I get the opportunity to further myself in my career and my aspirations, and not everyone is extended that opportunity, so I consider myself very fortunate to just have the chance to do so.
Yeah. So did you ever have any kind of hard times with motivation in college?
There have always been those struggles with everything. Kind of one of the biggest confusions I had was whether to stay in sustainable studies and move through that path or try to find another major. And that tied into my whole almost transferring from Florida Tech because of financial reasons, and it just kind of created a mess there, but it was always kind of what always kept me moving was it's that end goal. Like, where do we want to see ourselves after this 4 years? And that's been a big driving force. My family as well. Like, my mom has done an incredible amount for me, and I owe her everything to be able to compete at a level I do as an athlete, or to even be able to attend college in the first place. And so, yeah, there are tough moments, but there's been certain driving factors that have really just been able to push me through that and realize that it'll be okay. You can overcome this. Like, and having those driving forces has really been a big place in my, I guess, work ethic, for lack of a better word.
Thank you. So, geez, I keep forgetting that you're leaving today. And it's rough. It's a rough thing to digest. I feel like, I don't know, it's not obvious yet. It's not going to be obvious for any of us until we do depart. But, like, we've all been at the hip for 4 years. And I think being roommates and, like, friends with people for that long, and being, like, as open as we are together, like, we've helped each other through a lot of personal things, of academic things, athletic things, like, you name it, we've been there for each other. And, like, it's not always an easy thing. Like, there's ups and downs in friendships like this, and I think there's a lot of value that can be attributed to, like, a committed friend group in a way.
100%. Like, just the team at large, especially since our freshman year, has been a huge family. And just being in the house we've been in for the past 3 years, like, you form a really close bond with the individuals you live with. You know that no matter what happens, at the end of the day, you all have each other's backs. That is, like, your support systems, your roommates, like, you have your team, your brothers. Like, it's a truly phenomenal thing to be a part of, and to go through that experience and, you know, come out on the other side. It's definitely an adjustment you have to make to, I guess, quote on, quote off normal life.
Yeah. One of the things I've enjoyed is something that Jim pointed out, that when our class came in, the cliques dissolved. And, I don't know, apparently beforehand there was groups of the team that were, like, really close, and they came to practice, and the thing that they shared was rowing. But since then, we've, I think, done a pretty good job of keeping the team together. And, I don't know, sharing friendship and that brotherhood with everyone. And I hope to see that continue when we've left the roster.
Absolutely. We became very acquainted with a lot of the guys on the team our freshman year very fast, and we started to just see each other on a more regular basis. You know, on a weekly basis, we would get together with, like, the freshmen, the sophomore, the juniors, even some of the seniors, and, you know, that those interactions kind of fostered a really phenomenal team culture that we got to be a part of for 4 years. And it was those initial engagements that kind of got us a little bit more acquainted, that set that tone for lack of a better word, who we wanted to be for the next duration of time.
Yeah. So, speaking of team culture, there was something that I learned about a few days ago from you, since you are part of Pi Kappa Alpha. You had mentioned that you heard another fraternity, or another, what would you call it?
Greek letter organization.
Another Greek letter organization. What is it, the subset of a chapter?
Yes.
So it was maybe another chapter of Pi that had given relics down, like, generations.
Yes, so I'm part of the Zeta Sigma chapter of Pi Kappa Alpha at Florida Institute of Technology, and one of my brothers at the chapter at Appalachian State, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the Iota Lambda chapter, they do a very special ritual called Last Wills, where older members on the team will pass down items or relics to younger brothers. And I thought that was a really just a wonderful thing to do to kind of foster this team culture and, to have different pieces from the past that mean a lot more to you. And then for you to have the opportunity to give those down to younger members just really fosters a brotherhood. And I thought that was a phenomenal thing that they did.
I think that is great, and I'd love to implement that into the program here. And maybe we could, let's just brainstorm it for a second here. Maybe we could start with our senior class right now. Or maybe like all 4 classes, right? So it just drops a class each year. Or do you think it should be every 4 years?
Well, I mean, we started something this year where Christian and Jaime, our 2 team captains, received/gave items with 2 former team captains, which I thought was really special. And I think that's something that should definitely continue. Like, captains pass down a specific piece to captains, but then the team at large should select different items that, meant something to them or that they had over 4 years and pass down that, for lack of a better word, Florida Tech rowing gear, and just to keep that stuff within the members of the team, and for you to have a little bit of piece of the past means something.
Yeah.
And so guys at large should just be passing down their gear to younger guys, and that's something that happened to me and Christian both. We have had older seniors when we were sophomores who passed down different articles of clothing that they have and just different pieces of a different era, and that that really meant something.
Yeah, I always liked rowing with that Boathouse Tech
Yeah.
quarter zip.
Yeah, the quarter zip.
Dude, that is a cool Tech shirt. It's got the cursive Florida Tech all the way down the sleeve and that white stripe. Eventually, I outgrew it. I got a little too big for it, but that is a cool Tech shirt.
It absolutely is. I have several pieces of gear that I had that were given to me from older guys, and I definitely plan to do that as well. Shout out to the gentleman moving into 4066 Wilkes Drive. Christian has a little care package from you, from the older guys moving out of this house. So divide that up evenly amongst yourselves.
I'll see to that. Do you have any other ideas for advancing a fruitful culture among the team?
Absolutely. Just like one of the most important things is being together whenever you can, Like, there doesn't have to always be this huge grand gesture to bring you together as a team, but just interacting with your teammates on a daily basis, fostering a good culture and supporting each other will go an extremely long way in fostering a better team atmosphere. Like, just be with your teammates, do stuff with your teammates, you're a family.
Yeah. In the same way that your parents kind of expect you to check in, I think it's important that your teammates expect you to check in, and that you kind of hold yourself to that standard, that you may have a taste of freedom, right when you get out of high school and you're like, yeah, I can do whatever I want. I'm an individual. But you're going to hit a roadblock along the way, and so are other members of your teammates, and you need to be there for each other. You should be aware of how your boys are doing and do your part to make them smile and help them make you smile and help them pull harder and have them help you lift more and want to be there at the boathouse in the morning. Dude, I love going to the boathouse in the morning. I know there were some guys that were just like, damn, it's so tiring. I loved getting there in the morning early, taking down everybody's oars, greeting everybody that came in, try to get them in the right mindset to go.
I mean, no matter what with that, getting the opportunity to row at a collegiate level is an honor, and enjoying every single second of it is something that should really be treasured. by individuals, and all those early mornings, all those late nights, all those painful experiences you share together is just, it's another bond, and something that should really be treasured no matter what, because at the end of the day, you'll never get that time back.
So it may be a little early now to judge, but I think we've talked about this before. Once you're done pulling chain, tugging on oars at Temple, do you see yourself in the rowing world still?
100%. Rowing is something that has always been a large part of my life. It's a very big experience that I got to share with my father, which means a lot to me because he picked up rowing a little bit after I did, and we got some opportunities to row in the same boat together just on a casual Saturday. But it's never something that I'm going to leave behind. It's always something that I want in my life. If not for, being able to experience a competitive racing atmosphere and working with a team, but just general fitness, it's wonderful. I never want to see myself leave being a rower. And I also understand that my time as a competitive varsity athlete will come to an end. Life goes on. It's not I am not a high enough caliber athlete to be able to compete at a national or Olympic level to get those opportunities, but it's always something I want to be doing, whether I join a local club or if I have time to volunteer with coaching or just generally staying in shape on my own with my erg, or on the water with a local club. It's something I always want to be a part of my life.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I know a lot of people are glad to hear that too, and may take that in stride as inspiration for their own lives.
Yeah, you gotta get that. You gotta get that old man speed. When you hit. If you've been rowing for enough time, especially if you got rowing through high school, rowing through college, you can go do some serious damage as a 56-year-old guy in a single, and that's fun. There's a lot of different ways to be involved in the rowing world, especially in the summer and doing summer circuits. Being able to race on not necessarily the off season, but just where there are more opportunities to get involved with the sport at different times of the year. And the old man speed's a thing. You get that cardiovascular fitness going. And you can do some damage to single. And hey, I'm sure there will come a day where I may phase into masters rowing, but until they make me, I'll be doing seniors till I can't anymore.
Good. And secondly, on that, so you see yourself as a rower, but additionally, several of our teammates know a lot of people see you as a leader, as demonstrated by Jaime's unfortunate dismissal from the team. So there was room for a captain. You filled his role. Do you see yourself filling any leadership positions once you were done as a rower? As
stated before, I'm in accounting. I want to see myself really see that through, get my CPA exam, and I guess in the most general sense, yes, I want to work my way up to possibly senior management position, or if I'm lucky enough and I've proved myself a partner position at a large accounting firm. So in that sense of a leader, yes, I'd like to continue going on. And, when I stepped into the position after everything that happened with Jaime, I truly didn't feel like it was right. Jaime has done, it can't even be described in words what that man has done for this program. And
truly,
to even try to fill his shoes was just something I would never be able to do. But, it was an honor to follow in his footsteps, and he played a special part, in everyone's lives who was on Florida Tech, and he had absolutely played a huge role in my development as a rower over my 4 years at FIT.
Thank you, Jaime, if you're listening to this. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, shout out Captain Poppy.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. It's probably about time we start wrapping up.
I got a long drive home.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. All right. Well, in the future, I'm gonna be starting these other projects, probably on YouTube. I might try to get them on Spotify and make them a little more organized, a little more professional. You have one hell of a work ethic, and I'd like to discuss that with you sometime. I think we could do it over FaceTime, make it like a nice little video out of that. Be shorter. Maybe we have a long conversation, but I edit it down to maybe like a 10-minute kind of format. Just kind of pick your brain. I'll try to give you what I can, because I know you're going to be giving a lot to me, and together I think we can give something to whoever is interested in listening or watching. So thank you again, man, and I love the hell out of you.
Hey, dude, I love you too. It's truly been a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be on the Redliner Experience. It was a phenomenal time, and absolutely, anytime you want to do that, there's always time. If anyone ever says there's not enough time, there always is. So I'll make time, I'll be there, and I look forward to it. It's going to be a blast. And
all right, do we have anything to say to the boys on the team who are listening right now?
Yeah, gentlemen, that's something that was imparted onto me by Chris Field. My sophomore, junior year was 3 big rules of life. Rule 0, never play yourself. Rule 1, row hard. Rule 2, go fast. Rule 3, don't suck.
There you go. You heard it from the man. All right, guys. I hope you were having a great summer and, connecting with your families, learning things you want to learn. Because I think that's a huge part of being, a happy human. And really just keep becoming yourself. Because if you don't, the world's going to make you whoever the world wants to make you. All right? More steady state.
Yeah, absolutely. Steady state is the key to going fast. Is you got to put in the time so you can move later.
All right. Peace out, boys. Thank you, Marcus.
Yo, remember, Triforce. Gang, gang, gang. You already know.